Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Creature Meets Culture. We are doing our first two-parter, but it's also a spontaneous two-parter. We originally recorded this as one episode, and once I went in to edit it, it really ended up having the vibe of a two-parter. So we're going to do this one in two parts. We hope you enjoy the episode. In this episode, we're tracing the evolution of pet keeping in America, which dates back to the 1700s. In 2024, Americans spent over $147 billion on their pets, more than we spent on toys, movies, and video games combined. Pet spending has grown 400% since the year 2000. But how did we get here? How did we get to viral TikToks of our cats, dogs in sweaters, and birthday parties for our bunny rabbits? We know it hasn't always been this way. But when did animals transform from workers and utilitarian companions into the cherished family members we know today? And more importantly, what does the way we treat our pets say about who we are as a society? The story of pets in America is really a story about us, about changing values, shifting ethics, and the complicated ways humans have always tried to connect with the creatures around them. This is Creature Meets Culture. Welcome back to a happier episode than last week, everybody.
Wait,
I'm Debbie.
what was last week?
Oh, okay. So by the time this comes out, it's going to be after Christmas.
Oh, I missed one. You were with Savannah. Oh no, it was sad.
Oh, Haley, it was so sad.
Oh
I even had to give
no.
Savannah like a pep talk about it.
Ah!
She says that it wasn't as bad as I told her it was going to be. I feel like it was pretty rough, but I think it was just because I read it, I feel like it's worse when you read it and you have to like parcel out everything. But yeah, it's about horses during World War I.
Oh no. Oh no, no,
Yeah.
no.
And I told her, I said, Savannah, I can't tell Haley this episode. She literally will not let me. And so
You know me
she's like one for the team.
you know me so well. I wouldn't have been able to stand it. I mean,
No.
I live on a horse ranch, for goodness sake. Like, I look out the window and there's horses everywhere. I would have cried. I might have to not listen to that one, to be honest.
You don't have to listen to that one. It's a bummer. It's kind of sad. I did it because it had the theme of Christmas in it, but it also had the non-Christmas theme of tragedy and
Of
war.
tragic horse deaths and terrible war. Okay,
Yeah.
well, all right. I hope that this is more joyful. You know what's not joyful is how much money we spend on our animals. That was a shocking number in the intro there. Shocking.
Right? I know. But I get it because I do spend, I will say, okay, we have our stockings hanging up right now. The only stocking that is stuffed to the brim is our cat's stocking. Like,
Oh my
it's overflowing with things. Everybody else, pretty sparse, including my 16-month-old daughter.
Well, she doesn't know what a stocking is. She doesn't care. Neither do the cats, but you know. That's actually funny. In contrast, we hadn't gotten our dog anything because I don't know. We're not really big pet gifters. We buy her lots of things that she needs, and she's also rather expensive because she's quite old, so she's on a lot of medication right now. So
Merry Christmas, and all
yeah,
that.
guess what? We have your don't pee in the house medicine, and your don't die medicine, and your no arthritis medicine. But
Pulling it together is her gift to you.
yes, it's true. But I told Eric, I finished wrapping all your presents. And he was like, oh, I finished wrapping all your presents. And he's like, we didn't get anything for Nala. And I was like, yeah, you're right. Do we usually? He was like, I don't think so. We usually give her like a treat on Christmas morning. And I was like, I'm going to the grocery store. I'll get her something. And so I did pick up a little squeaky toy at Trader Joe's today and an extra box of treats. So
Contributing
she
to that
will.
total.
Yeah, exactly. I'm contributing as well. And she will have something to open on Christmas morning.
Well, and I also, when I rereading that number, I'm wondering if that includes vet bills, which if it does,
Oh my gosh.
completely makes sense.
No, that's so true. I was thinking just like food and
Me
toys
too.
and Petco stuff, but no, you're right. That probably includes vet bills, which are exorbitant. Like absolutely ridiculous.
It's insane. So anyways, I don't know for sure if that's that number concludes that, but I think it must because that is I would like to think it does because if we're just spending that much money on food and toys, what are we doing as a
What's
society, people?
what's that? Well, we're loving our pets for goodness sake. Another
It's
thing
true.
I thought of when in the intro is that you this is probably going to sound really stupid, but you were like the history of pets in America. And so I'm like, okay, like the history of pets in the United States of America. And then you're like, it dates back to the 1700s. I'm like, well, isn't that when America like started?
Okay.
Where are you also going to be talking about before like the United States was United States and
Great question. So this episode is based off of a book that I have read
okay.
called Pets in America
Huh.
by Katherine Grier. And I don't know if I'm pronouncing her last name right, but yes, it is just about the United States of America and I should say pet keeping in some version as we know it dates back to when European settlers came over in
Okay,
the
so like
1700s.
right off the bat.
Yes, right off the bat. And yeah, so this is like a very specific look at just pets just in United States of America.
Let's go. I'm so ready.
Um okay, so let's start with something that seems kind of obvious. What is a pet? The word itself comes from the French word petite, which means little. By the early 1500s, pet was described an indulged or spoiled child or
Oh,
any person that was treated as a favorite. Did you know that?
I've heard that actually. Yes, I've read some old-timey books that used that verbiage.
That's exactly what I thought of as old-timey books. I'm like, "Oh, yeah." The only thing I could think of anything like that being used in, like, today's vernacular was
Mm.
teachers' pets.
Teacher's pet? Yep, for sure.
I feel like you would have been a teacher's pet in elementary school.
I probably was.
Yeah.
You know, trying to please.
I feel like teachers' pets kinda went by the wayside in, like, middle school and high school because everybody just sucked.
Yeah, no, yeah. The teachers didn't like anybody. It was there were no teachers' pets. Nobody liked each other. They didn't like themselves. Yeah, that's not a thing.
Glad well, yeah, either that or we were not the teachers' pets.
Definitely weren't.
The earliest recorded use of pet for an animal appears in a 1539 Scottish document referring to a pet lamb, and it was like a lamb that was raised by hand, and was treated as a companion instead of just livestock.
So
Yeah.
all my life I've been thinking that they are called pets because you pet them. Is that not true?
Whoa. No, it's not true actually, but I
But like
never made that connection.
you didn't.
Oh, now I feel really stupid. I
Well,
didn't think about it.
it's not correct, so you shouldn't feel stupid. But like what do you do with pets? You pet them. I thought that's why they were called
Yes.
that. But
Yeah.
the word pet, like to touch something softly, that was around back in the day, and that is not has no connection, apparently.
I don't know the origin of the word pet in that context.
Oh, you
So
don't?
maybe it wasn't in the book, okay? But it should have been. Now that I think about it, you're right.
It just seems so
Yeah, that makes
obvious to
sense.
me. You pet them
That's so weird.
because they're your pet. Like you pet the pets, you pet the animals that are your pets. I don't pet like wild animals because they're not my pet. You
I
don't pet them.
couldn't Now that I'm thinking about it, I could not agree more. I never thought about it before in my life, but now I'm on board. I
All
think we should
right.
just redefine it.
Okay, sounds good. All right.
That
Anyway,
is the origin of the word pet.
okay, that is different than I thought.
Okay, so definitions of a pet, of like what a pet is, entirely based on human perception. One quote from this book that I really liked, I mean, it's a short quote, but I thought about it throughout the day, was no people, no pets. And
Oh.
it's so interesting because it's true. It's like animals do not categorize themselves this way.
Mhm.
We do in terms of like what a pet is. So in the 18th century, when people like were writing about their beloved animals, they almost always use the word favorite instead of pet. And historians typically looked at like pet keeping for most of history as like something kind of trivial, like not necessarily something that warranted a deep dive. Um, However, British historian Keith Thomas was one of the first historians to be like, hey, I think we should look at this more seriously. And he wrote a book in 1983 that was the first like serious look at pet keeping historically, called Man and the Natural World. And in
Not until 1983?
I know, I was like, really? This is the first time? But what historians talked about, like pet keeping historically, but it was like, it wasn't as something super serious. It was more like, um, just kind of like a part of the fabric of society, but not necessarily like an integral or important part of society. Does
Yeah.
that make sense?
No, yeah, I gotcha.
So in his book, he proposed three defining characteristics during this time where pets became like a part of people's lives. The rules, the defining characteristics he gave, there are three of them. The first was that the animal was allowed in the house. The second was that the animal was given an individual name. And third, the animal was never eaten. Now, those criteria obviously do not really hold up
Mm-hmm.
because we have outdoor cats and unnamed goldfish, and like there's also obviously a lot of cultural complexities. Well, I certainly will never eat my animal, my pet. Um, there's You can't really say that people don't have pet-like relationships with their animals that they eventually will eat. Like those don't
Mm-hmm.
hold up. But what Thomas was onto was like this bigger idea was that the most essential quality that pets share is that they have been singled out by humans and that in some capacity they have been chosen.
Mm-hmm.
They are the chosen ones.
Harry Potter and the hamsters. Both chosen.
Harry Potter.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Hey, baby. Uh, so that choice, what we choose to call a pet and how we choose to treat them, tells us things about the society that we're in and the choice that society is making as a whole.
That's interesting.
I know. So we're getting into nebulous territory here. So where did I'm going to put that on the shelf for a second of like what defines a pet. And now let's dive into where did American pet keeping actually begin? To your point, like you were asking. So, yes. Whoa, I said that. Yes, I was going to say
Yes.
is maybe okay. I was trying to say yeah and turned it into yes. Do you think that's where yes
That
came from?
it probably is. I mean, it just happened naturally, so I'm sure that you're not the first person that's ever happened to.
I think I am the first person that ever said yes.
Yes.
Queen. Okay, yeah, this is a way more fun topic than last week's. Oh my goodness. Okay.
So happy.
Um
Love that for you.
love that for you.
Myself as well. Yes, I do love that. Thank you.
The indigenous people of North America had complex relationships with a wide variety of animals long before European settlers arrived. If you have some curiosity in that, go check episodes 4 and 5, I think.
Those
We dive into a couple of those.
those are my two favorite episodes as of now, so highly recommended.
They're really, really interesting stories. So, relationships with animals have been happening in the United States or in America for a long time. Animals served as sources of food, raw materials, and muscle power, and obviously held great cultural importance. And they sometimes were recorded as being used as like play mates for children. In pre Columbian North America, it's noted that some people kept dogs that were genetically distinct from modern breeds. Archaeological evidence from sites like Danger Cave, Utah, shows dog burials dating back 11,000 years.
Oh
Isn't that
wow.
crazy?
Yeah.
So
But
pets in
those were not wolves. They were dogs.
Yes, they were not wolves. They were dogs.
Oh, interesting.
So, like, for sure, pets were around, but we don't, like, have an excess amount of information on them, at least from this book. So I could probably do a deeper dive, but, I'm not. Just, yeah.
So that's that, okay? It's
Um,
almost Christmas. We've got other things to do.
it is true. Every year I'm like, oh my gosh, this season is so busy. It's so stressful.
It is.
And um yeah, and then I just say that every season. It's
Nothing
that's just it.
changes.
No, but then when I look back on it, it's so joyful and happy and great. And I'm so glad that I did all of those like things. But in the moment, I'm like, if I have to see one more set of Christmas lights,
Oh,
I don't know
man.
what I'm gonna do.
I'm gonna scream.
In the name of Christmas. Okay. um. Okay. So I was gonna say on that note, not on that note, not on the note of
On a
Christmas.
different note.
On a different note, animals kept just for companionship and just for delight and funsies that came to America with European settlers. By the second half of the 18th century, keeping animals just for the pleasure of having an animal started to become like more routine. People cared for birds, squirrels. Did you know
Oh,
this? That pet squirrels were a thing?
I've heard of people having pet squirrels, but I thought that was kind of like a deep south kind of vibe, not just a back in the day kind of vibe.
No, so the reason it was back in the day is because it was actually they were used as a substitute for pet cats because people wanted cats and they couldn't find them sometimes. So instead they used squirrels as their pets. Like,
That,
nah, close enough.
that's like not the same thing. Like
At
I'll get this
all.
thing that doesn't even look or act like a cat.
Yeah, okay. So I don't have it right here in my notes, and I think it's probably somewhere in my notes, but I'm just gonna say it right now. So yeah, so they would have squirrels and they fashioned like actual cages and like hamster wheels for them. And
Wow.
yeah, because they had so much energy, because they would let them out of the cage and then they would just be all spazzy and, squirrels. And so they were like, oh, you got to run that out. So they like had hamster cages for them and
Well,
or
like
wheels for them.
squirrels are not domesticated. I'm assuming they were not in this instance either.
No, however, they were known to be, if they were like caught young, they could be quite tame,
Huh.
relatively speaking, to how we know our squirrels, where you're like, don't touch a squirrel. They became really like not chill animals, but I did note here that tame squirrels would sometimes be found riding around on women's shoulders as like a tiny fluffy accessory.
Oh my gosh, that's very cute. I actually held a baby squirrel one time. Uh,
Is it so precious
it
and
was
beautiful?
actually really precious. I have some cousins who uh, had a history of quote unquote rescuing animals
Oh no.
that should. I mean, I think they were actually rescuing them. Like I think they were in danger, but they should have been taken to a rehabilitator ASAP. But instead, they were just brought into their home. There was a possum at one point,
Oh
um,
my gosh.
which possums are so cute. But that doesn't mean you should.
Says only
You should.
you.
Wow!
Just
Oh
kidding.
my gosh, they are so cute.
Baby possums, maybe. Are you
Yeah.
talking about big, like adult possums?
Well, it was a baby when
Oh,
they
okay.
took it, but I think the big ones are cute too. Do you not?
No, the
Oh
teeth
my god.
are
Oh my gosh.
right.
Okay. I'll have to do an episode on possums. They're wildly misunderstood, as many nocturnal creatures are. But anyway, I went over to their house at one point and they were like, "Hey, we have a baby squirrel." And I was like, "Ah, why?" And they're like, "Oh, we rescued it." I'm like, "Okay,
Can I hold it?
I know, but I was like, "Well, while I'm here and I have this opportunity to snuggle a baby squirrel, I'm certainly going to do so." So, that was great. And yeah,
That's so funny.
I could see why people would
Uh,
want them as pets. They're very cute.
they're so cute. Yeah, I totally agree. Um, okay, so the list of animals, I stopped at squirrels, but what's changed a lot isn't so much like what we keep, but how popular different animals are. So
Oh.
birds, for example, were super, super popular 100 years ago, like far more than they are today. And there was a whole section in the book on popular bird breed. No, is it bird species? Subspecies? Species?
Both of those things could be correct depending on what you're talking about.
I was gonna say breeds because I'm about to talk about dogs, but I know it's
Mm.
not breeds.
Yeah, you would say species with birds, I think.
Um, but I didn't note a single one of them because I was like, there's just a lot of birds here. There's just a lot of them that people kept. Um, one that kept on popping up was a goldfinch,
Oh, yeah,
but
I've heard those are popular. You know what? This morning, I went out birding looking for a specific bird that's like a rarity in San Diego, and sadly, I did not find it. But
Hmm.
I did see an American goldfinch, which I have never seen before, even though they're like fairly common in San Diego. I've just never happened upon one. And I did for the first time, and so that was my lifer American goldfinch. So that was exciting. Thank
congratulations.
you very much. I'm assuming that if people were keeping goldfinches, it might be a European goldfinch because they're like really pretty and colorful.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I have no idea, but that would be my assumption.
It's in the book. I didn't write it down.
That's fine.
um, many dog breeds that are like everywhere today were completely unknown a century ago, and the definition of what makes a could quote unquote good pet has always had what historians call flexible edges, which means it just changes from owner to owner, decade to decade. So like 100 years ago, whatever the goldfinch, people were like, okay, this meets my needs. It like sounds pretty when it chirps, or has really pretty colors. And then today I feel like there's a lot of people that I know, myself included, that measures like a desirable pet based on their cuddly comfiness and how much they'll snuggle on my lap. Dogs were and still are the most written about and depicted animals in America. European settlers brought them over for specific purposes, obviously, hunting and herding and guarding being like the most notable, and dog breeds evolved and multiplied from there. The American Kennel Club, I thought this was a fun fact, was founded in 1884 with just 9 breeds.
Oh my goodness, that's it?
Yes, isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
So, very different situation. Today, for contrast, it recognizes over 200 breeds, which honestly I thought is
That's
also kind of
that
low.
seems lower than I would have expected, but maybe that's like specific kinds of I don't know, I guess it would be like purebred. Um
Yeah.
But yeah, there's also so many mixes now, like you've got your Labradoodle, you've got your I don't know, whatever else they have.
I wonder if Labradoodles would be like recognized by American Kennel Club because it's like a hybrid between two purebred.
I think you have to like maybe jump through some hoops to get like recognized. I think there's like a
Hmm.
process. I think Labradoodle is like their own thing now. Like
Oh,
you
yes.
breed
Yeah, that's fair.
Labradoodles with other Labradoodles to make like the perfect Labradoodle. There's all these like there's like the breeding and stuff.
No, you're
It's like
right. Yeah.
it's like a whole to do. I'm not into dog breeding and such, but it's like a big deal and the dogs are really expensive.
You know what this is making me think of? And we've never talked about this before. I don't know if you've ever seen this movie. Have you seen Best in Show?
No.
Oh my goodness. Haley, it is one of the funniest movies I've ever seen. It's so funny. It is with Eugene Levy from Schitt's Creek. You didn't watch that either,
No,
did
I
you?
didn't.
Oh my gosh. Okay,
Sorry.
well, I need somebody to bond with me over their love of Best in Show. It is so funny.
Is it about
Um
dog competitions?
yeah, it's about a dog show. It's about the award Best in Show and
Yeah.
people who are like in a dog show, and it's like a mockumentary style.
It's like
Um
Dance Moms, but for dogs.
It's so funny. It's so funny. It's so funny. I just
Is it funny?
okay. Anyways, getting back to the episode. Um, ba-do-ba-do. Dogs have been constant in America. We love our dogs. That's never going to change. If there's one thing we know from in 500 years, we may all be crumpled to the ground, but we will still love our dogs.
Death and taxes and loving our dogs.
I feel like that's true, though.
It probably is. Yeah.
Cats have a different story.
True.
Cats are treated far differently.
Well, they're a different creature, to be honest.
They are different.
They're very different than
They're
dogs.
Superior, some might say.
Some might.
Okay, so for most of American history, cats were largely like household workers. They had like a purpose. They weren't celebrated companions. They were ubiquitous, like, but they weren't exactly cherished the same way dogs were even back then, which I'm like, ugh, similarities. Cats are controversial and they just don't need to be people, okay? Um, Proven mousers, which we know is cat job is being a mouser. They were so prized that city folk could actually rent them
Oh
from
my
like
goodness.
exterminators. Yeah, they were like pest control contractors. So it's like, how do you get cooler than that? You don't get cooler. That's so cool.
I want to know the practicalities of that. Like, you just bring a cat to outside somebody's house, and then the next morning you go back and get it. Wouldn't it just run away? Like, how do you bring it back to your pest control place?
Well, okay, so I think like they're talking about like a confined area, like a shop or something like that.
Okay, that makes more sense. I have such a complicated relationship with cats right now because I know I'm going to make you sad. I'm sorry. I'm just
okay.
going to tell you how I feel.
Feel your feelings.
I adore cats. I grew up with cats and they were like my favorite kind of pet. I notoriously hated dogs. Like all the dogs we had, I was like, not a fan. They're just like not as cool as the cats. And then I got older and my husband is allergic to cats, so we can't have a cat. And we also have a dog that I now love. And so I'm like, okay, I'm on team dog now. I love dogs, even though like I love our dog the most. I see the value in other people's dogs now and actually like want to pet them and love them and stuff, even though they're not my dog. And I used to never be like that. And the more that I have grown to love birds and nature and conservation, the more I have struggled with cats because cats are so damaging to the environment whenever they're not kept inside. And so many of them around the world are not kept inside. And they're like an invasive species that have literally caused the extinction of lots of different species. And I know that you're aware of that. But I'm just like, cats, it's not your fault. It's not. But we need to do better with our cats and we need to figure something out. I don't know what the answer is, but I also just feel bad that whenever I was growing up, we always let our cats outside. And my parents, I mean, that was their decision, not mine. I was like a kid. But they were just like, they want to be free. And then I grew up and learned that my cats probably killed like hundreds of little creatures. I feel very sad about it.
I'm actually very glad you said that because I would not have brought that up. And you are right. You are completely correct. First of all, I think it is so funny because yes, you hated dogs growing up.
I know.
And
people change.
I feel like we swapped.
We did
because I used to love dogs.
Mm-hmm. And you were not a cat person at all. We had tons of them, and you were like, eh.
Yeah, it's true. And you are right, though. I will say, I am my cats, I have 3 of them. They're all indoor cats. And I believe very strongly that domestic cats should be kept indoors for all of the reasons that you just listed. And I will do a little plug really quickly because there are some really practical ways to get involved. If you are passionate, not you, Haley, I know you know these things, but like if anybody is interested in learning more, there are a lot of ways to get involved. One is obviously fixing your cats. 2 is a movement called TNR, which means trap, neuter, return, because there's a lot of cats. They reach this point where they can't be domesticated. If they're born outside, once they reach like teenagehood, they really can't be, oftentimes. Your cat Harley was an exception, but most of the time, they can't be tamed to be indoor cats. They're not going to be happy. They're going to remain feral. So they become what we refer to as community cats, and you can fix them by trapping them humanely, bringing them to shelters. They'll fix the cats, and then you can return them back to the area or colony where they originated from. And then the third option, and my favorite, is if you are passionate about like cat rescue and like support, fostering kittens is going to be one of the like, well, again, I'm biased, the best thing ever and was so life-changing. But cats that have already had litters, you can help the population by fostering them and loving them. And then you can help shelters adopt out to loving families and keep the cycle going to hopefully not only contain the cat population, but also help the ecosystem in your area flourish, because cats are, yeah, not good for the environment outside.
True. I was a huge fan of you fostering kittens. That was a very exciting time for me as well, because I didn't have to deal with any of the waking up every 30 minutes to feed them in the middle of the night, but I could snuggle them. They were so adorable, so cute and
So
precious.
cute.
Oh my gosh. I cannot overstate how cute they are. They are just, they make you want to squeeze them. They're so cute.
So cute. So cute. Yes, it was a great time. I can't wait to get back to it. I am everything that I'm doing to teach my daughter how to treat animals and treat cats is with a very specific goal to get her ready to foster kittens with me as soon as she possibly can. My original goal was 2 years. I don't know, like her being 2 years old. I don't know if
Yeah, you might need to tack on a year to that.
yeah, it was such a highlight of my life. So anyways, that was a huge tangent. I said this was going to be a shorter episode. I have to take that back. But it's fun.
This is good information, people.
It's great information. But cats, okay, to this point though, it's not just now that cats are seen as nuisances. Back in the day, and day is very vague because this is a big chunk of time, but cats were also seen as nuisances because they would get into like chicken coops and then eat the baby chicks. And then it's like your direct livelihood. It's not just some like, not some rare bird. I should not have said that, but
Oh,
I'm so I'm so sorry.
no, I understand, but it's not something that you're unaware of, or
Yes.
or don't have a connection to. But I mean,
Yeah, a lot of
cats are
people-
predators, so it's like, yeah, they're gonna come and try to eat your chickens. They're gonna, they're gonna eat the mice. Sometimes that's helpful, sometimes it's not.
Sometimes it's really annoying. Yeah. And a lot of cats were acquired from like friends or neighbors, or like people would just move and leave the cats there. And so then they were just kind of like inherited onto properties. I believe that's how the homesteader that we follow, that we used to talk about a lot more. Um, do you know Homestead and Chill? Thank you. Sorry, Debbie, thank you.
Yes. I don't remember her actual name, but yes, Homestead and Chill.
She moved on to a property where she
Mhm,
inherited
mhm.
like a colony of cats, or like a couple
Yeah,
community cats or
there's like
something.
2 or 3, I think.
So like it still happens. So because of that, they were treated with a lot less affection than other animals. And personally, I can't imagine that, because how could you see just a precious cat and it not be the most life-changing thing ever?
It is so interesting though, the difference, because like your cats, specifically Roy, like he comes up, he jumps on your lap, he purrs, he cuddles, like he's so sweet and affectionate. You can't help but love him. And then I rent a house on a ranch, and there are barn cats running around, and they won't let you touch them. So even though I'm like, oh yeah, you guys are cute, there isn't any affection there because they are not they're not pets. They're just they're
Yes.
running around, they're doing their thing. If I try to get close to them, they run away. There's no purring, there's no interaction. So if that's more of how it was back then, I can honestly see how people are just like, cats, because they aren't showing those loving things that give you those warm, fuzzy feelings because they're just running around doing their thing. They're not like snuggling you.
Yeah, I mean, it's true, and I know exactly what you're talking about because I've seen those barn cats. Cat lovers, even back then. Lydia Jackson Emerson, who was Ralph Waldo Emerson's second wife, was a noted cat lover. And during this time, there's a stereotype of cat lovers being women and little girls, which is interesting to me because of the whole like cat lady stereotype now.
Oh,
It's like,
yeah. Is that like
this
that's
has
like a
been happening.
persistent thing? Like, what?
Yeah, I'm like,
Men just don't like cats? They never have liked cats? What is that about?
well, somebody who has always liked cats is Mark Twain. He is
Go,
like a
Mark.
go, Mark. He is a documented passionate cat lover. He's like a just an animal, like a weird animal lover, because he was also in the Ravens episode as having a pet raven.
Oh,
um
interesting.
but his daughter recalled him carrying a cat named Lazy draped around his neck like a little stole.
Oh my gosh, how cute.
So Mark Twain once said, and I want this quote. I don't know if I want it tattooed, but I just really like this quote. He said, "If man could be crossed with a cat, it would improve man but deteriorate the cat,"
Oh my gosh, that is so funny.
which I love. Maybe a shirt would suffice.
Yeah, I think so.
Um, but over his lifetime, he had at least 19 cats with lots of crazy names. One of them was Beelzebub,
Oh,
uh,
goodness.
Blatherskite,
Uh,
and Sour Mash.
That is so random.
But you know what else is random? Little Boob. So
That's true. But I don't know, that it seems to make a little more sense than sour mash. Like
Sour Mash.
where's the
Sour
mash coming
Mash.
from?
I don't know. Well, you know what?
Go
If only I could
go
ask Mark.
ask him.
um, okay, so it wasn't until the 1950s that cats truly transitioned from workers to companions in the American household, at least. Like, remember, we're keeping it narrow here. Um, Cat breeds started getting recognized by the end of the 1800s, which is when the first cat shows started. And that was a direct evolution of Victorian America's love of exhibitions and cats that continues to this day. So I will note here that our love and appreciation for cats really evolved with the reign of Queen Victoria in England and us adopting her love of cats and animals in general, and then American society wanting to like piggyback on top of that. But like, I'm kind of talking about in like mainstream American culture, it didn't really like cats didn't really gain popularity as indoor animals until the 1950s. All right, that's where we're gonna cut off for the first part of Pets in America. Go ahead and join us next week for our part 2. We still don't have a sign off, but it is on our to-do list. Have a great week. Bye.